Do you want prospective clients to treat your gym like a sausage on a stick at the supermarket? Of course not. So why are you using a free trial at your gym?
They just don't know what's better.
Yeah, we're going to fix that today on Run a Profitable Gym. I'm your host, Mike Warkentin. We're going to tell you why free trials are a bad idea. Then we're going to tell you what to do instead. Please hit subscribe before you go any further. And if you don't mind, hit a like on this video. It lets us know that we're doing the right things and helping you gym owners out. With me today, gym owner and mentor and sales expert, Nick Habich. He owns Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition in Cape Coral, Florida. Nick, how are you doing? I know you're sweating today. How's things?
Yeah, I'm good, Mike. We got the opposite temperature as you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm cold. You're hot. We're going to meet in the middle and solve some problems for gym owners. So let's get right into it. We were talking before the show. Back in 2011, free trials were amazing for me. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't want to sell. So I put people into the workout. I let them do friends, see if they liked it. And if they liked it, they signed up and my gym worked because of it. In 2025, that doesn't work. So Nick, why are free trials bad in 2025?
Yeah, like you said, back in the old days, when a lot of us opened up our gyms or even longer ago, there weren't a ton of options and there were a ton of people looking for fitness, right? So back in those days, if you gave them a taste of fitness, they tended to think like, cool, I like this. I'll continue with this fitness. The people joining our gyms now, they're not looking for fitness. They're looking for health, happiness, confidence. They're looking for a solution. They don't really care about the means of getting there. So giving them a free trial does not set them up for success.
Yeah, like I was in a city of 750,000 or so. I was one of two gyms that was selling CrossFit, and that was 2011. There was no other option. So if you found out and heard about this new thing called CrossFit and wanted to do it, you went to me or the other place. That's it. Or a garage, I suppose. But if you want to do it with coaching, those were the two options. All I had to do was put these people, they were all early adopters. A lot of them were military people, or they were like fit people who were already doing something. They just came in and they did the workout and they're like, oh my God, I love this. I want to keep doing it. Or they puked and left and never were heard from again. And my gym worked because I needed 150 people in a city of 750,000. It worked just fine. Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah. We opened up in 2014 and it's exactly what we did. We did a free workout. And like you said, lots of like high intensity, high threshold people coming in to start, but also some people that weren't. So they either really loved it or they puked and never came back.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It worked in the early days. It doesn't work now because the early adopters are gone. Everyone knows what CrossFit is. A lot of markets are saturated. So you got to set yourself apart some way. And what you're selling now is coaching and results. We're not selling Fran, because people can figure that out on their own. I mean, back in the day, Nick, I was literally making wall balls by like funneling pea gravel into basketballs that I bought at the hardware store because you couldn't, like Rogue didn't exist to just order everything. Like, so if you wanted to use medicine balls, you came and used my duct tape situation because you couldn't get them elsewhere. You know, that's all changed now. Like every gym has barbells, every gym has pull-up bars, every gym has that stuff. I'm going to throw a few stats at you. These come from Chris Cooper, and I want you to give me your perspective on this. So he says in gyms that track, so this is just gyms that actually take the time to track their conversions in free trials, the close rate is under 30%. So the gyms that aren't tracking, it's definitely worse. What do you think of that stat?
Yeah, that tracks in my mind, right? Because like I said before, in the past, people were looking for a place to work out. Now they're looking for a solution to a problem. And if you give them a free trial, the one thing you had them trial may not be the solution to their problem.
Yeah, I didn't like that workout. It's not for me. You know,
that's it. Yeah.
That's an easy one, right? So under 30%, what's a close rate? What would you consider a good close rate in a gym when they're using free consultations?
When they're using free consultations like no sweat intros, I think we tell people like 70 or 80% is really good. You know, if you're doing double. Yeah, if you're doing better than that, your prices are probably too low. And if you're doing lesser than that, you probably need to get better at sales.
Okay, so there you go. That's your first stat, listeners. 30%. That's or less is your close rate for free trials. 70 to 80 is what we can get you to with a free consultations. And those are targets. Sometimes you can get even higher. I've seen some gyms do really well if they're great at sales. I'm going to give you another one, Nick. Length of engagement. Free trials, the length of engagement is about 7.8 months on average. That means a client will do a free trial. If they join, they'll stay for maybe 7.8 months. For free consultations, it's 23 months. So like about 3x. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, right? Because if you come to a gym and you try their version of the workout they had you try, you might be willing to stay, but my guess is that 7.8 months, those people aren't coming in and adhering to the plan and coming in 3, 4, 5 times a week. They're coming in 2 times a week, once every other week, and they're just forgetting to cancel their membership. If I use the right service, you're constantly adjusting what I need, and I'm willing to stay there for a very long time because I'm probably seeing better results.
Yeah. And if I have a free trial, or sorry, if I have a free trial, I don't know really what your goal is. I just assume that you want to work out and do fitness and maybe tear your hands or whatever it is. But I don't know your goal. If I have a free consultation, I know exactly what you want to accomplish. I've laid out a plan to help you accomplish it. And then I'm probably going to check in, or I should check in every 90 days to see if we're making progress on that. And what that does is gives me an opportunity to solve problems.
Yeah, I would say like if you're seeing 22 months, you're probably following the prescriptive model in general. So you're probably readdressing that plan at some point too.
Yep. So give me the 60-second summary. You just mentioned it. What is the prescriptive model, the quick version? We're going to dig in, but I want listeners to understand exactly what the idea is here.
Yeah, quickest version of the prescriptive model is you meet with somebody, you ask them appropriate questions, you get some type of measurement, and you understand what their goals are. Based on their goals, you give them a proper prescription for what they need to do next to reach those. At some interval, we recommend 90 days. You should readdress those and re-prescribe. And then you just follow that over and over and over again because people's goals change. You're a coach, you're an expert, help them get there.
Now, I'll tell you this, listeners, free consultations as part of this prescriptive model, it's been tied to like dramatically increased retention. So we just talked about 7.8 versus 23 months. Revenue is better. Average revenue per member is better. You're selling higher value services, attracting higher value clients. And this process stops commoditization of fitness. Because if me and Nick both have free trials and you go to his gym and do a workout and you go to my gym and you do a workout and they're kind of the same and you kind of like Nick a little better, you just join Nick's thing, or you like them both the same and you start saying, Nick, what's your price? And Nick gives you a price and you ask me what my price is. You make the decision based on who's cheaper, not on who's necessarily better because the things are the same. This prescriptive model allows you to showcase your coaching and your expertise, your problem solving, the results you can give to clients, and it sets you apart in the market so that your coaching or your fitness, is not a commodity, right? This is an actual coaching service. So now we're going to dig into this. Nick, gym owners are often hesitant to get rid of free trials. Have you ever had a mentee push back when you say, get rid of that? And like, what's the argument?
Yeah, I've a lot of mentees and I've had quite a few pushback against it at the beginning. I think there's a bunch of different reasons. I think one of the reasons is like lack of experience, right? That's what you started doing and it has worked, or it feels like it's worked up to this point. So the fear of change is large. I think oftentimes gym owners are scared that they'll have to have like a more aggressive sales conversation and maybe get more uncomfortable with the person. They'll have to get pushy, and that I believe that that's not the case. You don't have to do that. I think that the fear of change and the fear of discomfort are probably the biggest reasons why people are afraid to get into it.
Yeah, for me, it was very much that where, first of all, I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought I was selling workouts. And in 2011, I kind of was, but like that's
we all were. Yeah.
And I got people in the gym and I didn't really know how to sell. I didn't want to sell. So I just gave them a thing and hoped they would buy it. And it worked for me in 2011. Eventually I was losing money badly and I joined Two Brain to fix that. So it worked for a very brief period. Now it isn't like that anymore. Right. And what I started to find when I was having, we got together with Two Brain, we started doing more consultations, people who were coming in for free trials, like they hated them, because they just heard that CrossFit was kind of cool, or this high intensity fitness was kind of cool. But then they tried it. They're like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to do this. I just want to lose weight. And like, is there another way? And the answer is, yeah, there is another way. We can figure out something that works for you. And it was just like, I needed to make a change because we were bleeding out money. So when you talk to people about that, are you usually able to convince them to make a change, or do they really dig in? How does it go?
Yeah, I've never not been able to get somebody to transfer over with, because most gym owners are dealing with their level of experience, right? And when you get introduced to other people with different levels of experience, it's easier to see how the success means I'll probably be successful. Like, for example, when you start with free trials and you don't know any better, it would stand to reason that you won't change that, right? But then when you meet other people who have transferred from free trials to not doing free trials and they've been more successful, you say, okay, that could be me. Similar to like a before and after you see in a gym. If I see a big dude with tattoos who's lost weight, I could think that could be me who lost weight. But I think appealing to gym owners and coaches' want for helping people is a really good way to get through to this. Most of us did not get into this business to make money. I know that that's a thing that's important, but that's not what got most of us into the gym space. It was like, I want to help people. I want to work out with people. I want people to feel better. So if I offer multiple services, let's say CrossFit class and personal training, I need to know more about you to tell you which of those is better for you. And I literally cannot do that if you're dying doing burpees and pull-ups in a 15-minute free trial and I know nothing about you, right? So if I can get to understanding what your goals are and what your needs are, and I want to help you long-term, maybe personal training is a better route. But I can only know that by sitting down with you and talking to you and asking questions.
Yeah. And listeners, if you're on the podcast, Nick is wearing a shirt that says Help First. I just held up Chris Cooper's book, Help First. We're going to put a link to that in the show notes. That will change your perspective on sales. It's not a pushy, slimy thing. It's about asking, what do you need? And they're like, I badly need this help to do this thing in fitness. And you're like, I've got the answer. This is what you do. And I'll tell you this, in those free trials, this phrase made, I think it was $1 million for one gym owner. And it was, do you want to do these workouts with me one-on-one or in a group setting? And you don't get to ask that or say that, but the answer is simple. If I had asked clients back in 2012 if they wanted to do the workouts with me one-on-one or a group setting, I bet about 30% of them would have said, I want to work one-on-one with you. And I would have said, that's $75 as opposed to like a session, as opposed to $150 a month. And my bank account would be a lot fatter as a result. So pick up that book. Link in the show notes will be there. Nick, when you push your mentees and you get them on the free consultations, what metrics do you see that change? Is it just like, and everything changes?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's everything. Their revenue goes up, their average revenue per member goes up. You can't see the leg immediately, but you'll notice over time that it goes up. And it tracks logically, right? Like, for example, like you said, if we would have offered the opportunity to train one-on-one back when we first opened our gyms, there would have been tons of people who took advantage of that. And that's not us pushing that on them. They would have happily taken that. Like, I can't tell you how many clients I put through a free trial. And honestly, many of them I got to sign up for our group membership who would have been so much better off working with me or another coach one-on-one, like 2 times a week for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Did you ever hear this one? Did you ever hear this one where a guy would be like, your class schedule doesn't work for me? I'd be like, I should have said, I can meet you one-on-one at 10:22 on Thursday morning for $80.
What a novel idea. But like, it's similar to you. I never thought of that. I was like, that sucks. I guess you don't join our gym.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed enough gym owners on this show, our revenue leaders, our net owner benefit leaders, average revenue per member leaders. And I asked them what changes things. And inevitably they'll talk about the prescriptive model and say like, everything changed. Exactly what you said. When I started using this thing, my revenue, like you'll see these spikes, like they're like hockey sticks where a revenue line goes across and then boom, up. And they started using the prescriptive model. They bolted in personal training. They started getting better retention with 90-day goal review sessions. Like the benefits of this thing cannot be overstated. And the metrics for gyms, and we see thousands of gyms and their metrics, they all show that this thing works. So if you're not using this model and you're stuck on free trials, you really got to think about like, am I just digging in my heels here? You should try something else.
Yeah, I would struggle to believe that there's a logical argument for how it doesn't work. I think you could say trying to force unnecessary services on somebody maybe isn't the right goal, but then don't do that, right? Like offer the appropriate services to the right people and they will happily take advantage of those and see success.
Mm-hmm. So those are the benefits. That's the backstory of the prescriptive model. Now, Nick, what are the exact steps? So we're telling people not to do free trials, and it's crappy to not give them the option of how to do this. What are the exact steps now to move from free trials at your gym to consultations? Like, what are your top tips for implementation? So a listener can say, I believe what you're saying. I understand. I want to make a change. What do I do?
Yeah, great question. I would first list out like what services do I have to offer? So for example, if I'm a gym that only has one service, it's going to be a little bit harder to see the value in a consultation versus a free intro, right? Because there really is only like a yes, no decision there. But if I'm a gym owner and I'm by myself, or I have maybe like 1 or 2 other coaches, if I do group classes, I should start offering personal training because there are tons of people who need that service, right? If you have other services like nutrition or semi-private or barbell club or any number of other things, like I would lay all those out, right? And I would start thinking like, who are these good for? Okay. Then I would create a calendar in which I had people, I gave people the opportunity to book an appointment with me so that I was available for them and not like coaching a class and giving them 30% of my attention as I was trying to talk to them.
I've done that.
I know I've did that in the past.
Yeah, we're guilty.
Yeah, I would put together a list of questions, like in the Two Brain coursework, I put together a notes when intro questionnaire people can steal. I don't know if that's in a lead magnet, but I'm sure there's some version of it that exists. I would then sit down with people. I would ask them questions. And then once I understood their need, I would tell them to do the thing that's good for them. And then I would do it.
So key elements here, guys, you're going to need to, I would give you like at least 2 service offerings. And like the obvious one is like, if you sell group workouts, sell PT. Those two things, like you just like, that's an obvious one. If you can teach people in a group, you can teach people one-on-one. So just like start offering PT. At some point you may run into a thing where you have to hire someone to sell more PT, but let's leave that for now. Right now, you're just saying to your next client that comes in, like, I have two options for you. They're both great. One gets you your goals faster and works one-on-one with me, completely flexible schedule. The other option is group classes, and you're going to get less attention, but you're still going to make progress, whatever. You've got those two things. You're going to need booking software or a booking system of some sort, like the best websites and gym management systems will have this stuff built in. You just need to make sure that you are available to respond to leads and allow people to book, right? And eventually you're going to put a whole system in place where you're going to take leads, which is like a lead, an email address or a social follower, and ask them to book intros. But at least your starting point is having this thing available so that people who visit your website can book an appointment. They book an appointment, you're going to respond, confirm the appointment, tell them how to come. Again, there's whole sequences that TrueBrain has to teach people how to get people to show up for these appointments. We won't get into that because this is just the high level thing, because that goes forever. But then in that appointment, you're going to ask them questions. And the best one is, what led you to my gym? And they're going to tell you, I want to apply for a job, but it says I have to lift 50 pounds regularly and I can't do it. And so then the best plan here, it's called motivational interviewing. Ask them some why questions. Why is that important? And they're going to say, I just don't make enough money. I want to take my kid to Disneyland. You're going to get all this stuff, right? It's going to be emotional, deep, really important stuff. And then you're like, wow, I understand what this person wants to accomplish and why. I need to supply the how. And the how is exactly what Nick said. Here's the exact plan to get you to that goal as fast as possible. And start with the premium option. Price is no object. Don't put your budget on these clients. What is the best thing? And it's probably going to be PT, nutrition, and strength, or whatever it is. Tell them that. Some of them are going to say, I want that. Some of them will say, I don't know about that. That's when you can start adjusting the prescription, saying, yeah, go ahead. Pardon me. Go ahead, Nick. Tell me more.
Well, like in what you just said, don't put your price on them. I think what a lot of gym owners and coaches struggle with is that like our clients are not in the same financial position we are or were when we opened the gym.
Yes.
Right? Like when I opened my gym, I was working at the gym, going to college, and working at a liquor store at night so that I could afford to keep the gym open.
Yeah. So you couldn't afford personal training.
Yeah. But the executives that were coming in for my stupid free trials definitely could. And they probably would have seen better results if they were doing like dedicated strength training with me than getting their butts kicked in a wad every day. Right?
Offering someone the best steak on the menu is not slimy. That's saying you came in for steak. This is the best one. And they're like, well, can't afford that. Okay, I got this one. And they're like, okay, I want that. That's not a slimy situation. You're still solving the problems. And then the option, here's the key. Like if you do this process that we're talking about, and let's say someone says, okay, I can't afford personal training or it's not for me. I want to do your group program. Say, cool, we can do that. Personal training is always available if you want to accelerate it. Maybe you just want to do group training plus one personal training session a month. This is called a hybrid membership. Gyms that do this have incredible ARM because instead of selling, say, a group for $175, they're tacking on a $75 PT session once a month. That takes it to $250. That's a great ARM. You can even take it higher. And then if you sell PT later on, they're saying, oh man, I'm not getting good results right now. I'd like to move faster. I really want to lose that 20 pounds before the wedding. Okay, let's scale up to PT. And maybe the value was there for them at that point. So you see how this model allows you like huge flexibility and allows you to boost your metrics while helping people accomplish what they want. You're not forcing them to do this stuff. It's not like, Nick, buy this truck because I want to sell it, get it off my lot. It's like, you need to get from A to B. Here's the truck. Do you have any other, like, you've done this so many times in your gym, but also in as a mentor. Is there any like really great tip that you can give people as they're looking at the RX model right now off the top of your head?
Yeah, man, what a great question, Mike. The thing is, I think most gym owners are trying to avoid discomfort, right? And I would push back on that. And I would say if you got into the gym space, you care about helping people. And if you don't care about learning about them, you don't actually care about helping them, right? So if you want to ask questions and learn about them, you're going to naturally find that maybe some of your service offerings are not the best for them. But if you don't care enough to ask, you don't really care enough about their success. So I would just start asking your clients more questions, and you'll be shocked at how easy it is to prescribe them to do other things, that they might pay more money for, but that they'll see better results for.
Yeah. And here's a really interesting aspect of that. Tell me if you've seen this one where you're asking questions of a person and you realize that they're just a horrible fit for your gym. You know that they're not going to stay, they're not going to get what they want. And like for me, it was competitive athletes. So they would come in and like, I want to do this. I want to go to the CrossFit Games. I want, all these different like specialty. I was like, I used to take those athletes and inevitably it would really mess up my gym. And eventually I realized my market is like 30 to 60-year-old professionals who want to get fit for life and have a good time for an hour a day, 3 times a week. That was my market. Once I realized that, I started to say to competitors, you know what? That's a great goal. I can't help you with that as well as this gym down the street. You should go there and they're going to serve you. And then all of a sudden my gym felt better and I had less problems. Have you seen that in your experience?
Oh man, absolutely. I can speak to that personally. I have a gym in town. It's a CrossFit gym. The coaches and the owners are fantastic people. Totally different market than us. If you come into my gym looking to work out for an hour and a half a day, 60, 90-minute AMRAPs, you want to throw up every day, like there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's cool.
I will happily refer you to that, man. Like you will enjoy that more than you will enjoy my gym. My members will enjoy not having you here. That's a win for everybody. I've had that experience myself. I happily refer them to that other gym, but then I teach mentees that as well, because as we're making some of the changes that happen when you go from like a hobby gym to like a professional gym, sometimes cultural shifts make challenges. Mm-hmm. Easiest way to avoid that is to not let those people into your building.
Yeah. And if you target about 150 people with an ARM of 205 to start or greater, all of a sudden you're making $100,000 per year. We have spreadsheets that show exactly how this is possible, and you're on the path to becoming a millionaire. It's like this stuff happens regularly. I believe the stat was, 288 gym owners, achieved $100,000 net owner benefit last year with Two Brain alone. I believe that's the stat. That's huge. And that comes from this process because this is the model that goes into those gyms. It allows you to make good money, run a profitable business with 150 clients. You can find 150 clients, and it gives you the confidence to say, you can go do that over there. You are perfect for this gym. I can help you. Here's the price. Let's roll. Nick, thank you so much for helping gym owners with this. I think this is going to be perfect. If they want to work with someone like you, they can book a call and talk about it, and they're going to get to see, because this model, you guys as mentors, you drive it in piece by piece, step by step. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't have to understand it all at the beginning, but you will by the end.
Yep. So if you have questions about this model, book a call, link in the show notes. You can find out exactly how it is. And then the short version is a mentor like Nick will tell you piece by piece, do this right now. Now do this. And the metrics will prove that what they're saying is the right thing. Nick, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mike.
That was Nick Habich. This is Run a Profitable Gym. The world's best gym owners come on here all the time to tell me exactly how they're having the success they're having so that you can benefit from it. Hit subscribe so you do not miss a show. And please hit a like on this video on your way out the door. And now here's Two Brain founder Chris Cooper with a final message.
Hey, it's Two Brain founder Chris Cooper with a quick note. We created the Gym Owners United Facebook group to help you run a profitable gym. Thousands of gym owners just like you have already joined. In the group, we share sound advice about the business of fitness every day. I answer questions, I run free webinars, and I give away all kinds of great resources to help you grow your gym. I'd love to have you in that group. It's Gym Owners United on Facebook, or go to gymownersunited.com to join. Do it today.